I believe there's two main reasons why the property market costs people money. And the two reasons that it happens, one is to do with the banks and one is to do with the government. Surprise, surprise. In this video, I'm going to share with you why the most recent budget is going to have an impact on the pounds and pence that you buy a property at and also what you sell the property at, and why people from the 1st of April next year are about to lose a lot of money in tax because of the government changes in the budget. So why is this part of the year significant? Well, in a normal market, people think, right, it's November, it's December, we'll get Christmas out of the way, then we'll put our property on the market and we'll think about moving next year. Same applies for a lot of buyers. A lot of buyers come through the woodwork in January and in February thinking, right, new year, new property. However, this year, everyone should change that thought process. They really need to think about how to get ahead of the people that are going to lose a lot of money in tax when it hits the 1st of April. And I'm going to share two big changes to buyers on tax with you now. So number one is the stamp duty relief level, I should say, for first-time buyers. This kicks in from the 1st of April, and what we're going to see is a change in the relief level up to $425,000 for first-time buyers, where effectively a first-time buyer pays zero up to that point. That is about to change, and it's going to drop down to $300K. Now, what does that mean for the average first-time buyer? And of course, what does it mean to your property? Well, if your property is in around that $300K, say up to $500K, being purchased by a first-time buyer, they're going to pay minimal stamp duty tax. But from the 1st of April, if a first-time buyer, for example, was buying at £420,000, they're going to have to pay an additional £6,000 in tax that they hadn't budgeted for and don't need to budget for today. So that means if your price range of your property isn't around there and you're thinking of moving in the summer of next year, bring that move forward, because the buyers are going to be super active, motivated to try and get that sale through and pay a premium for it as well before the 1st of April. And what we're going to see in March is probably a little bit of a bonkers month of completions because of what's happened in the budget. Bearing in mind that this wasn't actually discussed verbally in the budget, it was just slid over in the document for the budget as something that's going to change. The second big change is to everyone else. Now, most people will have heard verbally that the stamp duty surcharge of 3% on a second home purchase is going up to 5%. We know that. But what about everyone else? What about the upsizers out there? You might be thinking of upsizing next year. Well, for the upsizers up there, there's also going to be a big impact in tax as well. Not quite as significant as for the first-time buyers in terms of what it looks like today and what it's going to look like 1st of April, but still more tax that you have to pay, because the stamp duty relief up to £250,000 as a threshold is being reduced to £125,000. So that instantly means that anyone that's buying a main residence in excess of 250 grand is now going to have to pay straight away £2,500 in tax as a minimum extra. So that's also going to have a bit of an impact in terms of just mentally how people feel about paying tax when they don't have to. Well, you don't have to if you move before the 1st of April, and you do have to pay that additional tax if you move afterwards. So again, if you're thinking of doing an upsize next year, bring the move forward, attract the buyers and yourself a saving as well, because that's going to be a lot of tax additionally spent that people don't need to do if they just bring their move forward. But is the market active? Well, point 3, I'm going to share with you the answer to that question, which is normally the question that most people ask me: what's going on with the property market? So you're going to think that my answer to that is in a classic estate agent giving you a sales pitch, but I promise you I'm going to share with you the data for you to make your own decision on what you think is going on with the property market. My view, it's red hot. And this is why it's red hot at the moment. In the month of October 2024, we saw the amount of properties being listed to the amount of properties having a sale agreed across the whole of England sit at a whopping 78%. Now, for context, a normal market that's not fantastic, but it's okay, that sits at about 50%. And for a decent market, 60%. So to see in the month of October as high as 78% for all agents, all properties across the country, shows that the market is very hot at the moment. And I think that's because we've seen interest rates declining throughout the course of the year and people are now very active. I would expect with this changes in the budget that we've just seen, that is going to increase again or at least stay the same. For avocado, we had an unbelievable month at 98%. So if you sell with avocado compared to your average estate agent, you're 20% more likely to find a buyer. So revert back to kind of what is the bottom line around this video. Hopefully it's an educational video that people can see. I'm just trying to help people by sharing some of the information that wasn't verbally shared in the budget last week, but will action from the 1st of April. My advice, if you're thinking of moving home in the next 12 months, bring that move forward. Don't worry about Christmas and New Year. If you're selling with avocado, we can work around timings, schedulings, we can work around the festivities and the media. Bring the move forward and take advantage of what we're going to see over the next probably 20 odd weeks, a very active market of people paying premium prices and people saving money in tax, which at the end of the day, we all want to do. There's no point in spending extra thousands of pounds in tax if you don't need to. And if you're thinking of moving in the next 12 months, you are going to need to if you delay it until the 1st of April. But you won't have to on a lot of those tax levels if you make the move now. Hopefully you found this video helpful. My advice, if you do want to get a property valuation booked in, the avocado partners in your local area will do that free of charge, and then they'll discuss exactly what the best strategy is for your move, for your property pricing and the marketing. You'll find a link around this video where you can get your appointment booked in. Thanks for watching. See you soon.